Hello and welcome to Kids from Yesterday podcast. I'm Clodagh.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm back from Hot Topic.
So good to have you back.
Thank you. I had a great time with Hot Topic. Looked at loads of t-shirts, loads of rubber bands for my wrist. For weeks on end. I just got lost in there.
I couldn't leave. They locked you in.
They locked me in overnight and I said, I live here now. I live by the skull animals. We're just friends now. So yeah, I'm back from Hot Topic and for episode 14.
I mean, you've missed two, so it must feel
I've
like
missed
a
two.
big...
Yeah, it's been a while. Can I just say a huge thank you to Danny, who did an amazing job with the fanfic episode. If you haven't listened to that yet, you need to. I mean, you need this episode in your life. I'm so annoyed that I'm not even on my favourite episode of my own podcast. It's so good. Danny did a great job. It's a really funny episode. Hilarious. I would recommend maybe listening to it at work or kicking back with a nice glass of whiskey or 10 and enjoying the episode.
You might need it, to be honest, because it was a lot. It was really fun to record.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was like, you know that like meme of like the two people that are like on a poster and then somebody sitting beside them, and it's like when I'm listening to a podcast, and that's where I felt. I was like laughing along, but I was like, I'm not actually there.
You're not there. It's okay. Maybe in future we could arrange something where all three of us are there. Maybe that's something people are interested in. And if you are, we're on social media. So we're Kids from YDay Pod on Twitter, we're Kids from Yesterday Pod on Tumblr, Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. And we're Kids from Yesterday Pod at gmail.com. If you want to email us with any suggestions, perhaps that is something you would like, we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, we would. There's only so many topics we've come up with.
Running out of steam, guys.
Yeah, let us know what you thought of the fanfic episode, because everyone that I've spoken to, like, people have come up to me in person and said, oh my god, this is amazing, and told their friends to go listen to it and stuff like that, and I'm like, that's it, tell them to go listen to the one episode I wasn't on. But yeah, it was really good, and maybe I'm biased, but I thought it was really, really good. So well done, Courtney and Danny.
Thank you. Mostly Danny. I was just there to make comments and drink whiskey.
Yeah.
It is amazing though that like the amount of people that listen to the episode, the word spread around because of word of mouth, and I think that's something that I didn't really realize until I started podcasting myself, how important it is to be like, do you listen to this podcast? Listen to this podcast. And because like obviously that's how there's no like platform for us to go like, this is where our podcast is. We kind of rely on you guys to
definitely tell your friends if you enjoy it. I think actually most of the podcasts I listen to definitely would be like 50% through word of mouth, like people have recommended things to me, or 50%
every
through
podcast
Instagram
I've ever listened to has had somebody tell me to listen to it. Yeah. I actually can't think of anything that I organically found myself.
Like it's such a strong way of, especially if you know like your friends, if they were emos, if they're, if they're long-time friends of yours, then they might be interested in our podcast.
Yeah, you never know. And maybe there's different episodes that they'll be into. Maybe there's like a emo friend who's into feminism who'd like our girls and music episodes that we've done.
Misogyny episode, or maybe somebody who's a massive Paramore fan, a massive U6 fan, or if they're just in it for the banter, fanfic episode.
Yeah, I mean the fanfic. You I feel like even if you knew nothing about My Chemical Romance.
Yeah. Even if you would still find it amazing. But anyway, we are this week. What are we talking about, Courtney?
I think we're going to talk about emo festivals.
So there are a good few emo festivals. I have never actually had the privilege. I went to Relentless when Kerrang had that Relentless tour.
Yeah.
I went to that. That wasn't really a festival though. I think it was Good Charlotte, The Blackout,
or Nemesis, Sean
Passion Pit maybe, or no, what was the one? The Guns.
Young Guns.
The Guns.
The Guns.
Young Guns. Those youthful guns. Yeah. I think they were playing on somebody else. I literally don't remember. But yeah. Have you ever been to any?
Yeah. So I am like a Slamdunk veteran.
Okay.
Slamdunk is...
Of course, you mentioned that before in the podcast.
Yeah, I've actually been before. No, so Slamdunk used to be in the Midlands, in Hatfield, and in Leeds in the UK, and it started like a billion years ago. I think it used to be a club night actually, and then they had like Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy and Paramore and stuff play there. So I used to always go to the Midlands one, and like I've seen Panic at the Disco there. I've seen like All American Rejects. I've seen All Time Low. I've seen like a whole bunch of bands, and like it was actually great because it's only a 1-day festival. So you cram an awful lot in, and there's all different stages, of course. But like I came across so many bands that like I think the first time that I saw Mallory Knox was at Slamdunk in 2013.
Oh, and you love them. You're obsessed with them.
I'm obsessed with them. They broke up.
Oh,
they broke up last week. They broke up last week. And I am fucking devastated. I feel so bad for them. Like Mikey, their singer, left, and then their bassist like stepped up to the plate. I was like, because he used to do the backing vocals, he started doing, and they recorded an album. But it's just like people,
not the same.
It's not the same, and people didn't give them a chance. Like everybody was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. Where's Mikey? And it's like, it kind of destroyed them both. Like, I'd say morale wise. Like, how can you possibly believe in yourself if people just keep telling you your shit, because even when they haven't heard? So it's really crap. But in 2013 I remember sitting on the ground because I was so tired and they were playing, and I was like, this is actually amazing, because I'd never heard them before. And it was like a really cool way to discover new music, and it's definitely like, it's the kind of thing that I would love to see more of, that like you just have a day where all these bands play, and maybe it could be like local bands and stuff, and you get to discover new music.
Definitely, because I feel like that is such a really, like for me anyway, 10 years ago when I was first kind of getting into emo music, a big thing was word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because your friends would recommend something, or, you know, you'd be going to a gig and you know, Paramore, let's say, and you want to know who the support acts are. So I remember one year they had like Paper Out, they had You Meet Six, and they had somebody else. And I had
Scuba Dice one year as well.
Scuba Dice, they were Irish, weren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know who Paper Out were. At the time, I wasn't really into You Meet Six. I actually didn't like them. But I knew who they were, so I was like, oh, You Meet Six are playing. I can't believe I just sit through this band I hate. You know, emo angst. But
I like that your emo angst voice.
Oh my god, that was so me. I hate them so much. I hate Muse. That was it to me as a teenager. Like, you know.
You sound like some cartoon. I can't think what it is, but it's very accurate, whatever it is.
But yeah, and it's I just think it's a phenomenal way of like finding new bands. Family 4-5, they supported Cobra Starship, and when I heard that they were the support act, I had to listen to all their albums, and I got really into them. And they came back and they played a gig here in Ireland a couple of months later, and it was just, I think it's a really great way of, you know, community, the emo community.
Yeah. It
incredible.
Absolutely is. Like with Slamdunk, I went in 2013, 2014, 2016 and 2017.
Okay.
And I didn't go last year. I mean, like, I have been ill for like a few years now at this point. The last time I went, I hadn't been diagnosed. So I had a lot of whiskey and a lot of painkillers, which I do not recommend to anybody. It's very bad. I was like mess. Like by the time I got to the like Tonight Alive, or like the headline act for one of the stages, and I just sat on the floor and I couldn't see, like I could see lights. Oh. And I was like, oh, there's Jenna. That's fine.
Lights.
It's just some lights.
Actual lights,
yeah,
not
just,
lights.
Not lights. Not lights. Like, I mean, like physical lights. Physical lights? Does that even make any sense? I don't even know anymore. Anyway, I didn't go last year, and I probably won't be going next year. No, sorry, I did go last year. I probably won't go next year. Yeah. And I didn't go this year because they've moved out of Midlands. They're only doing Leeds and Hatfield now. And like, as a person with a chronic illness / disability, it's not accessible to me. Okay. Like the thing about Midlands was they used to do it in an arena, so it was like all split up, and there was loads of places for me to sit down that was sheltered, that like, I mean, it wasn't quiet, but like I could find a space to sit that like nobody was going to push me or jostle me. And I feel like an outdoor festival is just not something I'm ready to do again. Which is really shit, because I think there's a lot of people who were really upset about that when they got rid of Midlands.
Oh,
like that was kind of
listening. Bring it back.
Yes, Slamdunk, come on, listen to us. Listen to us, not Sean Smith's podcast.
happening. Anyway, another huge festival I think that they have in the States that I always longed to attend, Warped Tour.
In 2013, Clodagh, I had the opportunity to go to Warped Tour in Florida and I did not go.
What?
No, in fairness, it was like... Oh my god. No, it was like, I was there on a family holiday.
Okay, fair.
My brother said he'd go with me. But, like, he would have been, like, 16 at the time. And, like, wasn't really into... Like, he liked some of the things I liked. So he would have liked, like, All Time Low.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if he'd heard Cobra Starship, he would have liked Cobras.
Oh.
Like, that was the kind of... Yeah, but that was the kind of... Like, he liked that kind of, like, pop-punk scene kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, like, Bring Me the Horizon played that year. And, like, a whole bunch of other bands. And I did not get to go. Because I think it was more just the... Like, tickets were only, like, $40. It was fucking, like,
That's
ridiculous.
really good.
And they do, like, an initiative where you can bring... like canned goods or something and you get like early entry.
Oh, cool.
So like they had like a donation bank thing, which was really cool. So yeah, I really like, I regretted it, but also I knew I wouldn't have been able to stand
for the duration.
Yeah,
which is fair. I think what was it, 2007? I think Paramore did their first headline there.
Yeah.
Iconic. Like the pictures from that you'd still recognize today. The videos, they're all iconic. I think like Warped Tour, it was sponsored by Vans for a long time.
Yeah.
Vans Warped Tour. Is it still Vans?
It's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
Warped Tour. Yeah, remember they finished. Well, no, they finished in 2018. That was the last ever Warped Tour. And then this year they did 25 years of Warped Tour.
Yes.
So I feel like it'll keep coming back. Like
26 years of Warped Tour.
I mean, there is the thing about Warped Tour as well, is like that's where a lot of the emo bands, like if you could survive all the dates of Warped Tour.
Yeah.
That was where you kind of got your respect.
Yeah.
That's where you found like your popularity and
yeah.
stuff. Like as far as I know from like what bands have said about Warped Tour, it's horrible because you're getting on a bus, you're going to like a field and then you're getting on another bus and then you're going to another field and it's just like you're constantly filthy, you're exhausted.
I can imagine.
Like
you
couldn't do it. And like obviously the more popular you get, like the bigger the tour bus you get, the bigger the like you got hotels and stuff, like you have more budget to do more.
Yeah.
And you have to be less present because obviously as well, like they're selling their own merch.
Yeah.
Like it just seems fucking grueling, like to like, you know, if you want to make it as a band you have to survive the Hunger Games kind of shit.
It's literally the Hunger Games of emo band, the emo Hunger Games.
And then there's obviously like the whole thing of bad shit happens at Warped Tour as well.
Oh, I haven't heard any stories. Do tell.
Well, like there's the whole Front Porch Step thing. So Front Porch Step was an emo whiny shoegaze dude. Like there was allegations that he'd had contact with underage people. Which we may go into in slightly more detail in future episodes. I think we've got a future episode
kind of bad stuff.
We want to talk about some of that kind of bad stuff in a little bit more detail. But there was like a petition to get him kicked off the tour. And there was it's messy. It's a little bit messy, and there's like messy bands have been on that, and there has been messy stories from tour, and like it seems like a really big fucking like it really is like the Hunger Games. Okay. But like there's loads of drama around it, there's loads of like stuff around it that just seems like
naturally, because I guess thinking about it, like obviously there's all these bands who are all Hunger Gaming out to
Hunger Gaming it out, but they're probably all in like their early 20s.
True, and at that age, you know, it's probably most of their first time away from home on tour.
Yeah. Especially if like you have grown up in a band and your plan was to be in a band and you didn't go to college or anything, you've never had an experience of anything other than like being on tour.
Which sounds cool, but then like not sharing. No thanks.
Not sharing a small space with people I like, but like don't want to see every day. Yeah. Like if we had to share a dark basement, Clodagh, I'd fucking kill you. Yeah. I love you, but I'd be like, don't talk to me for like 4 days.
Don't talk to me. Yeah. We can't see each other. We've no lights.
Yeah. it's too hard.
We only have the glaring light of the laptop here as we record.
This is how this works.
We don't pay electricity. We have no patrons, so we can't afford our bill.
It's so sad.
Send us some tea lights, please.
So true. Or if you don't want to send tea lights, you could send coffee lights by going to ko-fi.com/kidsmeyesterday-pod, just if you wanted to throw us a coffee light.
We'll throw that in there. I think it's like €3, $3 whatever your currency is.
It's like the price of like
A coffee.
A small, mediocre coffee. Not from Starbucks.
No.
They're like $3.45. Fuck that.
Yeah, maybe like a nice Cafe Nero, regular Cafe Nero.
Yeah, or even McDonald's.
Even McDonald's coffee.
Yeah, which isn't actually that bad.
So if you'd like to buy us some McDonald's coffee,
feel free to. That would be amazing. Okay, so we just had a look online because I wanted to see. I honestly can't remember any of the specific Warped Tour drama, but I just came across an article that the title of it was from Billboard, and the title of it is Warped Tour founder Kevin Lyman defends festival's controversial anti-abortion tent with I want to stir it up. So he goes on to say that like he supports Planned Parenthood and he donates to them, but he wants to hear other opinions. And I am so fucking sick of people thinking it's okay that because it's something that and like devil's advocacy doesn't work, because unless it is authentically your opinion, it's a load of bollocks. Like, this is never going to affect you, Kevin. Like, well, there's this issue, like, there's anti-abortion. There's, the whole thing with, like, when you Google Warped Tour, it comes up with, like, remove sexual predators from Warped Tour, and there's, like, petitions everywhere, because he just keeps bringing them back. And it's probably just as well that Warped Tour is gone. Like, I feel like the idea of it is, like, the ultimate emo dream. It is the ultimate emo festival. But it's just like, this is ridiculous.
They have a group called Rock for Life and Rock for Choice.
He's like, yeah, so he said, I'm a very pro-choice advocate, but I believe the counterpoints need to be allowed in spaces. And he's like, it's 4 girls at a table, and like people, they're not chasing people down, people can ask them questions. But they did a fucking like poll about like when you think abortion is okay. And it's horrible. And like, if you are listening from other parts of the world, last year in Ireland we repealed the 8th Amendment, which is an amendment which said that people couldn't get abortions, and we finally removed that from our constitution. So the fact that it was in the constitution meant that people died. There was a lot of like actual famous cases of people dying from like septicemia and complications that shouldn't have arisen because the hospitals and our general country were trying to protect the fetus instead of the person who was dying. And like, obviously if the person dies, you can't, like, it's not viable. And I'm trying not to I don't want this to turn into like a
Courtney, this is an emo festival podcast.
Clodagh and Courtney get angry about abortion. But it's like, I mean I will always be of the opinion that people should be able to choose what they want to do with their own bodies. And it just goes me further that this is like something that Kevin Lyman is sitting here going, it's okay to debate. It's not okay to debate it. Like, you cannot choose it for yourself, and you cannot choose it. You can disagree with it fundamentally, but you cannot tell people
what to do. Yeah.
You can decide that, but you can't make people feel bad. Honestly, like, that whole thing has just disgusted me. So, I remember before, like, there was the whole front porch step thing, and Kevin Lyman was kind of like, there are allegations, nobody's been charged, and you're like, you know what? Fair enough if you believe that, that's okay.
There's no smoke without fire.
There's no smoke without fire, and also I think it's probably better to say sorry to the person for, you know, judging them, I guess, if it turns out that they're not true. But I feel like it's the kind of thing that if there's a chance that this person is behaving in an unjust way, you're probably better off going, you know what, we're not going to let you be around here, and, you know, we'll revisit this if it happens that you're innocent. And I feel like that should happen more. Yeah. To be honest, I don't think there's he got nothing to gain from protecting him, because he was putting minors at risk by letting him be in the festival. Yeah. You know, and even though, like, I don't think he was ever charged, but it's the fact that, like, nobody knew what the truth was. So why would you continue to risk people? I mean, as the founder and the owner and the organizer of this festival, you have a duty of care to these minors. Like, just,
especially because you're like, the chances are that these people are coming to their first kind of gig on their own without their parents, and they need to have, you know, as a parent, you'd want to trust that they're in good hands when they're at these festivals, that there's going to be people looking out for them, because it's a known ground for people who are underage. Like, it's made for them,
like, a lot of these festivals, like, I know with Slamdunk they had a system where you had different colour wristbands depending on how old you were, so you had to show ID when you bought your ticket. They put the wristband on you, and then only then could you even get to the bar. And even at the bar, they'd ask for your ID again. So that they had these, like, separate things set up that, like, if you were underage, you could fucking see it on their wrist that that's a child. Yeah. That is a child. I don't know how Warped Tour is set up, but I assume if they allowed minors in, that was probably part of it too.
Yeah, especially because in the UK, or not in the UK, in the US, they're so strict on drinking age.
Yeah.
Like they're ridiculously strict.
Yeah.
More so than here, so they'd want to. But on a more happy, funny note, I thought we'd look back at the Vans Warped Tour lineup from 20 years ago, so 1999.
I would have been 5.
Yeah, I would have been 5.
A lot of you listening probably weren't born. That's valid too.
I know. Imagine people who were born in 2001.
My sister was born in 2001 and she's 18 now, and it's I don't like it.
Like, it's not like we're ancient,
but it feels weird. Well, like, that's it. Like, my sister and my cousin are 18, and my cousin was like, how old are you? And I was like 25, and she was like, you don't look it, you look so young. And I'm like, you're young, I'm not young. What's happening? I'm so confused.
Actually, like, just a little bit off topic, a couple of weeks ago I met my best friend's brother's girlfriend, and she's like 21, and we all, you know, we're all in the pub having drinks, the whole lot of us, and afterwards she said to my best friend's brother, oh, I was going to ask them to come to the nightclub with us, but I thought they were a bit too old for it.
Oh my god, Clodagh.
I was like, I'm going to strangle her.
I'm still 25.
I'm youthful. Anyway, 1999.
When we were 5.
There is a few here that are like 1999. This is bizarre who I've found on this lineup, right? So we have Blink-182, standard. Dropkick Murphys, standard. Pennywise, standard. There's a couple here, Less Than Jake, standard. Couple here I haven't heard of before.
Less Than Jake, who have like headlined Slamdunk, well, like on one of the stages in Slamdunk every fucking year.
They're still going. They're still touring. Couple here I haven't heard of, like Amazing Crowns, 7 Seconds, Grinspoon. You'll never guess who's on this lineup. Black Eyed Peas, 1999.
Sorry.
Black Eyed Peas. I suppose Elephant came in like 2003 maybe, which is their first album, Where's the Love. But Black Eyed Peas.
Maybe you're listening and you've never heard Black Eyed Peas. Is that weird? There's probably people listening who are like, who the fuck are the Black Eyed Peas? Maybe, actually. They don't know about My Humps.
My Humps, that was a monkey. I was obsessed with them. I suppose, actually, Black Eyed Peas, I was a huge fan of Black Eyed Peas. Before Fergie joined, I'm pretty sure they had a few albums. Not 100%. But let me have a look. Yeah, they started out in 1992.
What?
1992. That is mad.
Like,
I think Fergie then joined in like 2002, 2003.
And that's when they took off.
And that's when they took that's when they took off.
That is shocking to me.
Yeah.
92! They're older than me!
Fun fact. Nicole Scherzinger of the Pussycat Dolls was initially approached to be in the band, but they went with Fergie instead.
Wow.
Fun fact, if you know who they are.
If you know who the Pussycat Dolls are.
If you know who the Pussycat Dolls are.
We really don't know our audience demographic, where we get
know them too.
Yeah. Where we get our podcast information. Just not tell us how old you might be, like your age ranges. So we're just guessing that some of you will be like, wow, that's a good fun fact, and then people will be like, who? The what? Listen to the playlist we've constructed for you lovingly, because that'll teach you all you need to know.
Yes.
All of our playlists are available on Spotify. You can.
Will we put the Pussycat Dolls on this week's playlist?
Yeah, because it's
and the Black Eyed Peas. Okay,
because when people see it on Thursday, it'll be a surprise. Like, wow, I wonder what they're talking about this week.
Fair. That is fair. Let me go up a couple of years. Let me go to 2009 and see who's on it. 2009. This is 15 years of Vans Warped Tour. Okay, so skip it forward 10 years to look at the 2009 Vans Warped Tour lineup, which is obviously 10 years ago, but 10 years after 1999. This is the 15-year anniversary, and it's headlined by, obviously a lot more of these are familiar to me than the older ones. 303.
Jesus Christ.
A Day to Remember, great band. Rocket to the Moon.
Remember them?
Attack. Dance Gavin Dance and Cash Cash.
I
They
had
were
a
both kinda
nightmare
like-
about Dance Gavin Dance.
What?
one night. I don't remember what happened. I just remember waking up going, oh my god, Dance Gavin Dance, don't do that.
I have no idea who they are. Like, I've heard the name, but I feel like them and what was the other one I said? Cash Cash were kind of like,
Yeah.
they were in the same kind of category of like
Yeah.
weird,
Scene emo,
sceney,
yeah.
emo music. Less Than Jake are there again. Jeffree Star. Do you remember when Jeffree was like an emo music icon?
Yeah. Have you been watching Shane Dawson's Jeffree
No.
Star? You need to.
I watched the ones that you told me to watch before. Remember the last time you told me to go watch it? It's brilliant. But yeah, I heard he's doing another one. It keeps coming up with my subscriptions. The Fabulous Life of Jeffree Star.
Yeah. Like I don't watch Jeffree's videos. Like I don't know how many segues we've done in this episode already. I don't watch Jeffree's videos. He's a bit much for me. Like just generally it's like I find it exhausting. But I think the dynamic between Shane and Jeffree is really interesting. Because like the amount of time I spend looking at him going, this is the same person who had a music career is so weird. Like I can't and sometimes he has like flashbacks to what he used to look like and you're like, it's just a lot. Like he was like a MySpain
a MySpace
queen. Yeah.
Because I thought you were going to say, when I look at them and I keep thinking to myself, I was thinking about how Shane always makes these jokes about how he doesn't shower.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like,
I don't know.
Does he shower? Does he not shower?
I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about poor old Shane. Like, I don't know.
We'll keep them for another episode. You can tell me after.
We can do like a former emos of YouTube episode.
Oh my god, that would be really cool.
I would really enjoy that.
Who else have we got on here? Some of them I've never heard of. It's also very blurry.
Are you looking at a poster? Sorry, I have no idea what she's looking at.
I'm zooming in on a poster.
Right. It's very dark in the
Prada,
basement. The Main.
I've heard of them.
The Main are coming here. The Main are doing a UK and Ireland tour next year. I got tickets to go.
Oh, really?
The Main are actually really cool. Like one of my friends is really, really into the Main, and she was like, she's tried to get me to travel to see them before, but like I haven't been sick for the last few years, so I haven't. And then they announced they were coming here, and I was like, of course we'll go. So they're playing the Academy, but they do a thing where if you buy tickets through their pre-sale, everybody's automatically entered into a draw to win meet and greets. They don't ever charge anybody for it.
That's cool.
And John O'Callaghan like really, really believes in like not charging people. And like there's been absolute shade of like, why would I charge you 80 quid to like take a picture with me? I think there's like something to be said for like, if it was me and my current state of chronic illness. Yeah. Like me touring and then also meeting fans.
Okay, fair.
I don't know. I don't know if I would. I think it depends, really. Like, if you're going to do, like, free meet and greets and then also a paid experience, then fine. But I think, like, straight up charging people 80 quid to, like, shake your hand and say, hello, I'm Chloe
it's like €200.
Fuck.
I just can't come on.
So it doesn't really matter anyway.
No. But yeah, I've seen the Main. I'm not a fan of the Main, but I went to see them because my friends were like, we're going. I was like, sure, I'll go on. And I think Never Say Never was the support act.
Fuck.
I'm a real big fan of yours. That's my impression.
It's the same as your child.
And I'm quite the young to you. You're so whiny. Yeah.
God, that was what, 15 years later. That's 2008?
2009.
Sorry, I can't.
10 years ago, but 10 years after 99.
I'm dyslexic, Clodagh. I can't do maths. Okay, I can't. Don't hurt me like this. Yeah, so 2008, 2009, that was like when Gossip Girl kind of exploded. So like that makes sense that like 303, because remember Leighton Meester did.
That was a cover Starship.
Oh.
Boom.
Who did a song with 303?
Katy Perry.
Yeah, but it was like all around the same time.
Yeah.
How did I get Leighton Meester and Katy Perry mixed?
I have no idea.
They don't even look the same. They're both white women.
When I went to see 303, they played in the Academy here in Dublin.
I wish I'd gone.
We were like 15. God knows why, but we all had condoms. Or we had a box of condoms. Now, none of us were having sex, so they were fucking, we'd nothing else for to do with them. So we decided, we'd just been to KFC, so we had like sides and stuff. We had coleslaw. So we said, we'll fill a condom full of coleslaw, because that's all we were filling condoms with at that age, to be fair. I've never seen a willy. So So we filled the coleslaw into the condom and we were like, fucked it out on the Lewis track because it's right beside the academy. So 303 are like walking in and like the Lewis is like just coming down the track. And 303 are walking in like, hi guys, like think we'd all be like, well. We're like, oh well. And then we all like turned straight back to the Lewis track and we're just waiting for it to come along to see if it would squish the coleslaw everywhere. Yeah. I was such a sap.
You're a child delinquent.
Tell me about it. I'm still bloody delaying. I'd do it again if I had the chance. But yeah, like they were like waiting for us to be all like, oh my god. And we're all like, well, and just like look straight back at the news track, like waiting for it to come. Like, how dare they interrupt us? We had this planned out. We're having so much fun. This is what we did waiting for. Yeah.
So like, this is just proof that emo bands didn't keep kids off the streets.
No, honestly, like to be fair. My mother was blessed. I could have been up to worse things.
You could have. No, you could be filling those condoms with other things.
Yeah, like water.
Yeah,
throwing them at people. But I wasn't. I was just
just
vandalising the Lewis track with
It's
coleslaw.
fine. It's organic matter. It'll biodegrade. It's fine.
That's where my friend's nickname Nicole Slaw came from.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow,
Hi,
that's
Nicole.
stuck. Hi, Nicole.
Yeah. Pretty sure we come up with it that day. We're like, Nicole Slaw, Nicole, coleslaw, haha, funny.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolute child delinquent.
Stop. Oh my god, we spoke about this in one of our previous episodes, the Cobra Starship video. I still haven't showed it to you. I promised you I would.
Yeah,
I
want to
so
see that.
remind me after this episode. And if you want to sign up to our Patreon that we don't have yet, but if anyone's interested in giving us €1,000, I'll show just to see the Cobra Starship video. We're cool with that. We can definitely buy some light
Send
bulbs
us an email.
for Dark Basement H.
We don't have a Patreon. Send us an email and like wire transfer.
Yeah, we'll give you our bank details and you pick me IBAN.
You got Revolut because
Yeah.
if you do, then.
But yeah, so that was fun. Another band, let's just quickly talk about another kind of festival tour that's coming here while we're excitable. Hella Mega Tour.
Hella fucking mega tour. This is not a festival, but
It's not a festival, we're gonna talk
very
about
fucking excited.
it.
Like the fact that all three of those bands, I mean, as we know, like there's Fall Out Boy and then there's Weezer and then there's Green Day who own Weezer, according to that episode.
Oh my god,
we
yeah.
did.
If we get to meet them, we can ask them about that.
Yeah, like, hi, so can you just clarify for us?
Do you own Weezer?
Do you own the Pinkerton? No, you own a copy of the CD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
That was in, what episode was that? That was...
Is it on episode... That was episode 6.
Yes. So episode 6, we were talking about Green Day owning... I misread what was... I took it very literally, what was said in the book. So it was like Green Day bought Weezer's album Pinkerton, and I took it as they bought the masters, but they actually just bought a copy of the album. But I was like, in my brain, I was like, Green Day are rich enough to buy Weezer's masters.
Yeah.
And I think that at that time, the whole thing about Taylor Swift's masters being
Yeah.
like bought by Scooter Braun had come out, so my brain had just like rationalised that, okay, it's fair.
That's
they
fair. Green Day own Weezer.
They own Weezer. But yeah, we're going to see that. We are so excited.
I can't wait. That's going to be amazing.
We are Pit as well. We got Pit tickets.
I don't know. I'll just have to like keep people away from me. Don't touch me.
Yeah. But it should be good.
It should be amazing.
I think that's the first time we've actually had a decent emo lineup come here in a long time. Like
It definitely feels like next year is a good year because like next year we've got Slipknot coming here, we've got the Main coming here, we've got Hella Mega Tour. It just feels like a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope there's more. Like I'm hopeful that like a few more bands. Like I want more revivals. I want 303 to come back here. We can recreate the coleslaw moment.
Oh my god.
Imagine.
Yeah, I want Cobra Starship to come back. Of course I do. I'd love if Paramore came to visit at the end of next year at some time.
Yeah.
But again, no pressure, Hayley, if you're listening. I know we're gonna
listening to your favorite
Where's
podcast.
the album? But they have said that they're like just chilling.
Yeah.
And that's cool. We're all just chilling.
Like
We'll deserve a break.
I wish we had a festival. Like I know Slamdunk used to send some bands over here, but like the headline acts would never want to travel over here because it was so expensive. And obviously next year we're looking down the barrel of Brexit. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to care about on an emo podcast. But like if you are an international listener and you don't know what Brexit is, it's basically, in a nutshell, Britain wants to leave the EU, the European Union, which is like a political trade market thing where everybody is treated kind of the same, except there's a whole lot of rules and they don't want to be involved in it anymore, but they can't decide what way they don't want to be involved in it anymore. And because they can't decide, it means that everybody doesn't know how they're going to be impacted by it when it does eventually happen.
But the thing is, I like only kind of realised this yesterday, in that we still have the common travel area, so the British bands can come here no bother.
It's still expensive though, and because like we travel between them, so we've got like Irish. Okay, so this is, if you're not from either England or Ireland, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? This episode is a bit random. But basically, Ireland has a bunch of Irish airlines.
Yeah.
So we've got Ryanair and Aer Lingus, and those kind of travel the most between Britain and Ireland.
Yeah.
And then there's like British Airlines as well. But I don't know what's going to happen in terms of like the laws around those, around like competition and stuff. So it could cost more money. I don't know what's going to happen with ferries, because obviously that's not our sea. Between them, we've got the Irish Sea and then the British Channel. Is the British Channel on that side, or is that the other side?
Oh, that's the other side between France and England.
Okay, so this Irish Sea, is that the whole thing, the Irish Sea? I don't know.
That's our sea.
I didn't do geography past junior cert, so I don't know. That's our sea. Well, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. If it's already so expensive for bands to come over, I wonder what's going to happen going forward. I hope.
We'll just have to get some Irish emo bands back together. Jodie has a hit list. It'll be selling out the Tree Arena.
Come on.
We're desperate. We're really desperate.
Oh, I don't know. I wish we could get a whole bunch of people back. Like a nice emo festival would be really cool.
Yeah. Well, at least, again, there'd be no problem with them coming from the US. A lot of people come from the US here and then go to the UK. Yeah. Like, we're normally the first or the very last stop on a lot of those tours.
Yeah. Which is great.
Cool. Yeah.
Which is really, I think we're the first date on the main store. So they're obviously
coming here and then tipping off
over to the
UK.
Like the other festivals, there was Riot Fest as well in Chicago. Like I know Fall Out Boy have played that a lot, and I don't know an awful lot about Riot Fest actually. It's the kind of thing that you see. I mean, this is like, maybe this is something you've experienced as well, where when you're on like Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and you follow a bunch of bands, they're always talking about festivals that you're like, I'm never gonna get to go to this.
Yeah.
This is in September, and I'm never gonna get to go because it's in Chicago or whatever. So it always sounds really cool.
Yeah.
But it's just
what was that tour? Remember Fall Out Boy and Paramore did a tour together? What was it called? It had some name. Oh, Monument Tour. Monument Tour? Is that how it's pronounced?
I don't know.
Monument Tour. Anyway, they had that with New Politics. I was in the US when that festival or when that concert tour was happening. And obviously Fall Out Boy and Paramore, two of my favourite bands. And I was going to try and go to one of the dates I was living in Pennsylvania at the time. I was going to go try to see one of the dates there, but it just like did not work out. And I couldn't go. Like I couldn't get the time off work to go. So that would have been incredibly cool, but it didn't happen. Another one, do you remember when Paramore did the Honda Civic tour? And there was like a Honda Civic with like Paramore logos spray painted. Yes. And like, as you know, like in Ireland anyway, like a Honda Civic is like a kind of a joke of like it's like a real lad car. Yeah. Like, feck your Honda Civic, I have a horse outside, you know what I'm kind of like. Yeah. If you're not Irish, you probably have no idea.
We might just stick that song on the playlist.
Yes. If your Honda Civic, I have a horse outside. What a bop. But yeah, that Honda Civic is kind of like a joke thing. So it was just bizarre when Paramore did that tour. It was funny. It was like two worlds
colliding. Yeah. Why are you doing this? Do you have a horse? In terms of other festivals, and obviously there's Reading and Leeds, which are the big like.
You've been, right?
I've been, yeah. So they're like two of the biggest festivals in the UK. So they have like Glastonbury, they have Reading and Leeds, and then they have something else. Can't remember. It's not emo anyway.
Latitude.
Yeah, well, yeah, they have Latitude and we have Longitude. So there's like a bunch of festivals that happen in the UK anyway every year. Download, that's the other other emo festival.
It's more metal-y, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a mix.
Yeah,
like Reading and Leeds are kind of where you'd get your like more pop punk kind of mainstream. Pop so like I went in 2014 to Leeds Festival and I saw Jared Way when he was doing the Hesitant Alien tour. So sad. That was the closest I've been to seeing.
And you've seen Frankie.
And I've seen Frank. So I've seen like half of my can play, which is not enough. Who else was there that year? Oh, I saw Paramore there as well. So like, it was a really good mix of like bands I really wanted to see. Because Blink were headlining one day as well. It was a really good fucking year for it. It was like Blink, 182, Paramore and Queens of Stone Age did a co-headliner, which was really random on one of the days. And then the third day it was like Arctic Monkeys, which was an experience.
No, from me.
It was an experience.
Okay.
If I do, yeah, it was weird. But it was like a really good mix, and I do feel like those kind of festivals are really cool. Like they have like Rock am Park and Rock am Ring in.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. They're
Germany.
somewhere in Europe. Yeah,
They're in Germany, and then they have Download in Paris as well, which
cool.
kind of similar thing. It's like I think they've had like Slipknot, and the one year they had, or the last, because Danny was actually at it, and that was like the last. So she got to see Linkin Park.
Oh cool.
That year before.
Yeah,
which is really sad. I never got to see them play, which is really shit. But like it's just they had like cool bands play, which is pretty awesome.
This year Reading and Leeds, I actually really like the lineup for this year. It was on in the end of August there. The 1975, which are I like them. They get a lot of slack, but I think they're kind of emo pop. You're not a fan.
I liked the first album a lot.
Yeah, really good album.
Yeah, and then I got sick of it, and then I got sick of them.
Okay, fair.
Kind of the thing.
I really like them. I haven't really heard too much of their new stuff, but I do really like the first album.
Valid, very valid.
I did go and see them, but I was very drunk, so I don't really remember it. Anyway, that's a common theme on this podcast.
Very drunk because I don't remember it.
U-Music played, Juice WRLD, which is kind of going into that kind of like emo rap sphere, and Post Malone was a headliner as well, which is again emo rap. Billie Eilish, emo pop.
The amount of people who keep telling us that Billie Eilish is not emo, it's like, have you seen her? Have you listened to her talk? Have you heard any of her music?
Bizarre thing. So the other day I was speaking to the girl, and she told me she had no idea what an emo was. No idea. And she was like, what is emo? And I was like, that's the question we're trying to answer.
that's
so I tried to explain emo to her. Yeah. And I was like, showing her pictures of like
the fringe,
basically. And she's like, nah, don't know what. And I was like, Billie Eilish is emo. She's like, is she? And I was like, yeah. So it was the first time I had to convince somebody that Billie Eilish is emo.
It's the first.
But she is. Foo Fighters also were headlining A Day to Remember. I love A Day to Remember.
Day to Remember, great. I saw them at Leeds Festival as well.
I think I seen them play with Blink before. I definitely did. Or was it 4 Years Strong? I was getting the two mixed up. Oh my god, I've just realised that's why I can't find the song I'm looking for. I've been looking for this, and I've just realised it's a 4 Year Strong song and not A Day to Remember. I downloaded all of A Day to Remember's albums like looking for this one song, and I've just realised it's a 4 Year Strong song.
Right. So
shit.
You don't like A Day to Remember, you like 4 Year Strong.
I like the boat. Bastille, not emo.
No.
Churches, emo. They were playing.
Lauren Mayberry is pretty damn.
And they had a song with Paramore. Well, Paramore actually, no, when I say Paramore, it was Hayley. Did a cover of one of their songs on the like a deluxe edition of their album. Enter Shikari, Bowling for Soup, the main, like it's
a good mix.
It's a really good mix. And then you've got like Of Mice and Men, which are like older emo bands. I feel like they were smaller, older emo bands like that, and The Story So Far and stuff like that. They were.
The Story So Far, and Park Cannon kicking somebody off the stage that time on Work Tour. Which I wrote an article about back in the day.
That's bizarre.
I love how like I wrote this article about like don't fucking do that to people, like especially if they're just stage diving and you've encouraged it. Like don't kick somebody off the stage. And the amount of backlash I got, which was like, would it be fine if you kicked a man? Like no, I just firmly believe you shouldn't kick anybody off a stage. Like obviously if somebody gets up there and starts attacking you, fucking drop kick them.
Yeah.
Like but
defend yourself.
Yeah, he was just being an ass, and I haven't liked them since. And they actually had a couple of good songs that I liked before that, but now I'm like, out of principle, I will not listen to you
for kicking people.
Clodagh, we need to talk about one particular festival.
We do.
And it's a festival we've been dancing around for this entire.
Yeah.
And it is Mars Island.
Mars Island. Now this is only something we've recently discovered as well.
It has been going on for a couple of years.
Which is bizarre.
Like I haven't heard of this. But Mars Island is a festival organised by Jared Leto of 30 Seconds to Mars. So it's for 30 Seconds to Mars fans to go to. And you may have seen the photos floating around. It is a lot of people dressed in white and Jared Leto looking like the second coming of Jesus. And people were like, this is a cult, this is a cult. And when it was brought to their attention that perhaps it looked a bit like a cult, and it fucking does. Like, he's dressed like Jesus. And we're looking at the photos now.
We'll
we're
put
gonna
these pictures on our Instagram and Facebook and stuff.
But they have titled it with, yes, this is a cult, and then like a triangle, which I assume is meant to be like Illuminati or whatever.
Isn't that their thing, like Echelon? It's like a triangle.
Yeah, and like all their fans are called like the Echelon. Okay, so I did some digging into this whole story. I really want this to be like BuzzFeed Unsolved or something. Like, I did some digging into whatever.
I love those episodes.
But I did. Like, I looked up a few subreddits on it because I was like, this is probably the best place to get some information.
From the horse's mouth.
Yeah. So, like, you're going to have fans arguing about stuff. So, the thread is called What's Up With This Jared Leto Drama? And it's basically somebody asking, like, what's the deal with Jared Leto? So, like, you may know, I mean, lots of people on this thread were like, I didn't realise Jared Leto, the actor, was the same Jared Leto as in 30 Seconds to Mars. And you're like, he's the same. He looks the same.
Apparently that tells how old you are. Because I remember, like, there was somebody said...
Tells how old you are. Your age.
Your age, yeah. It tells your age because some people, older people... know him obviously as Jared Leto, the actor, and would go to the 30 Seconds Mars concerts being like, we're such a huge fan of him, we came to his gigs.
Right.
And then there's 30 Seconds to Mars fans who are younger who were like, oh, I'm only watching this film because I love his music. I did not know he was an actor for a long time.
Okay.
Bizarre.
That is bizarre.
So really, like, apparently that tells your age.
Yeah. So like according to this thread, he has done a lot of like wanky things over the years. So like, I mean, that was a poor choice of words. Oh god. So there's the situation where he sent
What's the definition of wanky?
he sent a substance to Margot Robbie in apparently method acting for the Joker for Suicide Squad.
Okay.
So yeah, a wanky substance.
It's actually in the dictionary.
Wanky. Yeah.
Adjective. Pretentious. I knew words. Contemptible. Stupid.
Wow. Okay. So like, I'm actually using proper grammar.
You are. I was like wanky. That's such a funny word.
Yeah. No, I was going for he sent some substances in a used condom to Margot Robbie.
Which is pretty wanky.
Yeah, pretty wanky. Literally pretty wanky. We don't know if it's true or not. It may have just been like a thing, but there's a lot of stuff about him being really difficult. I mean, the fact that he hasn't been asked back for Birds of Prey, like the Harley Quinn film, they used somebody else as the Joker in that, is kind of telling.
That is very telling.
But anyway, this was a whole thread about like stuff that Jared Leto has done. You can find it by literally searching Reddit, what's up with this Jared Leto drama.
And he's also literally not the Joker in the new Joker film.
Yeah. Well, there's that as well.
There's that as well.
There's that as well. That tells you a lot. But people were kind of arguing that like a lot of the stuff that they do as a band is very culty. And everybody is like, no, like 30 Seconds to Mars is a family. We joke about it being a cult. And like, this is like recurring things people saying like, no, I'm a really big 30 Seconds to Mars fan. It's a joke. We don't take it seriously. We're saying it, and he likes to mess with people. Somebody was like, oh, from the outside looking in, it's like you see all of us wearing white, and then Jared looks a little bit like Jesus, and like you all think it's a cult, but like it's an in-joke. And you're like, okay.
Is he giving out some fantasy by doing that?
I don't know. And like the thing is, I'm really into true crime and like and cults and stuff. And I find them really fascinating. And I'm sure there are I'm sure we could do a whole science bitch about like behind cult. Actually,
there's definitely key elements of
science bitch about cults someday. With this as kind of like a point. Maybe we could do like a side episode just specifically about the science of cults. But there's like key elements to what makes a cult. And it's like, hang on, I want to look up what they are, because
there's like the
basic kind of elements of what makes a cult are, you have this charismatic leader.
Jared Leto.
Yeah, so I think you could probably say he's the charismatic leader.
Yeah, what I do.
The word cult can be broadly, this is according to a Guardian article about this. This is from 2009, so this has nothing to do with Jared. But the word cult can be broadly defined as a formal religious veneration, a system of religious beliefs, a system of religious beliefs and its body of adherents, a religion regarded as unorthodox or spurious, great devotion to a person or idea, as well as persons united by devotion or allegiance to an artistic or intellectual movement or figure.
So yeah, they're all fans. No, like their allegiance to Jared Leto.
They kind of said, you know, like people are in like an Elvis cult, or like people who are really big fans of like Star Trek are in a cult or whatever. But the way I see it is that all these people who are... So there was one specific Reddit user who commented saying that they were a diehard Jared Leto 30 Seconds to Mars fan, and they were just adding their 2 cents. And they said that because Jared Leto is eccentric and because of some of the lyrics of the songs, some conspiracy theorists a long time ago accused 30 Seconds to Mars of being a cult, in inverted commas, and brainwashing their fans. This person seems to think that Jared and 30 Seconds to Mars are like playing along with a joke, that they're trolling, that like he likes the attention and he thinks it's really funny that people think this. And then they said that the lyrics, Jared has said that the lyrics of his songs mean whatever they mean to you. They're intentionally vague and scriptorial to allow the listener to glean what they need or want from it. It feels a little bit religious, doesn't it?
But if you play them backwards, it says strong and energy.
The imagery the imagery that they use in their music videos is the same, vague, but seems to be trying to convey a deep, powerful message. Because of this, many fans, including myself, have found deep meaning in their songs and music videos that have helped them live their lives. This, of course, fuels the conspiracy theory of cult-like activity and brainwashing, which Jared seems to enjoy or find funny. And then they go on to say, as others have said, the Echelon is also a very tight-knit community. I've had some very powerful experiences with total strangers over our shared love of 30 Seconds to Mars music. There's something different about this fan base. We've all taken the saying, yes, this is a cult, as a mantra of how much we care about the music and each other. Lastly, the photos posted on Twitter are from Mars Island, which is similar to Camp Mars, an event held every year. People get together and hang out with Jared and the band. 30 Seconds to Mars plays several concerts, but they are much smaller because it's not a huge arena. It's on a smaller campsite or island, so you get to have a more close-knit experience with the band and fellow fans. Jared takes this opportunity to feed the trolls and have some fun by doing cult-like activities such as pictures in the Twitter post. These activities also are a good opportunity for fans to grow closer and share their love of music and their experiences. And they finish by saying, I would love to go to Camp Mars or Mars Island someday. I'm sorry, I got fucking goosebumps reading that because it's...
Yeah.
like...
Can I be a wanky devil advocate for one sec?
Yes, you can.
Right, so I'm just thinking, there's 2 things that spring to mind when you were going through that. The first one is the Daily Mail accusing My Chemical Romance of being a cult, and that whole, like, they're brainwashing kids into dying by suicide and suicide ideation, everything like that. The other thing I'm thinking of is Paramore's Parahoy, where obviously everyone was off on a boat with the band. And, like, obviously you could say that there's, you know, Hayley is a charismatic leader, Jared is a charismatic leader. The same as we're saying Jared is, not Jared. Jared, anyway. But there's, like, obviously with this, is there an element of brainwashing and is there an element of exploitation? Because I don't see either of those elements in Paramore or My Chem and their particular Parahoy or My Chem as a whole, as a band, as what they were being accused of at that time. So what would you say is kind of the brainwashing element of this? Do you think there is one?
In this case, I think, like, what makes it distinct from, like, a festival or, like, Parahoy or, like, a specific thing that's to do with a band. I mean, I think everything has, like, an element of cultiness to it. Like, you're following a leader and whatever. Like, you could argue that till the cows come home. When do the cows come home? When will the cows...
hear in a moment.
When will the cows return from the war? You could argue this. I think in this case, it's the fact that everybody is on board with the cult thing to the point that they're doing cult things. So, like, they're all sitting around in white. And there's that video that went around of Jared getting everybody to sit down. And that really freaked me out. Even though it's like, oh, this is a joke. It's like, at what point is it not a joke anymore?
So is he brainwashing them into thinking it's a joke when it's not?
I would wonder.
Okay.
Because everybody defends the idea that, like, oh, it's just a joke and it's just a thing we say. And it's like, oh, he's trolling people. You don't know what he's thinking.
No.
You don't know if this is serious to him or not. Like, you don't know him. And that's the thing that I find kind of weird. That it's like, we all know our leader and we love him and we trust him. And that's what I find really freaky about it.
True, because that is kind of an element of other cults, and they trust them unquestionably.
Yeah.
And end up in trouble.
Like, this is the thing here. So it's like you have a charismatic leader who increasingly becomes an object of worship as the general principles that may have originally sustained the group lose power. So a few years ago, there was a tour, a 30 Seconds to Mars tour that was advertised somewhere as Jared Leto and 30 Seconds to Mars. And it was supposed to be like, famous actor Jared Leto. And he lost his fucking shit over this and cancelled the tour because he didn't want it to be Jared Leto and 30 Seconds to Mars. He wanted it to be 30 Seconds to Mars. And he was so intent on keeping it as this unit and not about him. And I feel like that's changed since.
Fair.
So I'm like, okay, that could, I mean, this is all speculation. We're not saying necessarily, but I think it's,
Yeah, we don't know for a fact.
yeah, we're just armchair guessing at this point. Reading an article and applying it to, to the world. But you could argue that is a thing, that he is a living leader who has no meaningful accountability and becomes the single most defining element of the group and its source of power and authority. In any of those pictures of them on Mars Island, you only see Jared and you only see the fans. You don't see the rest of the band.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you who else is in that band.
I can picture one of their faces, but I have no idea what his name is.
You, sir.
The bald guy, I think he plays drums. He's not bald, he has a tiny bit of hair, but you know, he has less hair than Jared.
Limited hair.
Limited hair.
So you've got your charismatic living leader who has no meaningful accountability. He can make jokes about it and everybody's like, oh, he's just joking. There's no, he doesn't have to take responsibility for the jokes or for anything.
Yeah.
And then you have a process of indoctrination or education in use that can be seen as coercive persuasion or thought reform, commonly called brainwashing. You could argue again that it's like, we're a family, it's really close knit. Like, I feel like if any band was to sit down and go, our fandom is very close knit, we're all friends, nobody argues here, nobody makes anybody feel bad, would people behave that way? Or does this need to be like a slow introduction? Do you need to believe this is a family? Do you need to feel like you're being treated as a family?
That's what I'm thinking. Is it a slow introduction to we treat each other with respect? We are a family. We do anything for each other.
Yeah.
And then I get to a point where it's like, we're family. We do anything for each other. So I need you to do this for me.
Like, you could wonder. I know your friend. What's your friend's name who went to Paraguay?
Oh, Megan. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Who's my friend? We know from your friend Megan, when we read out the story that she sent in to us about Paraguay, that like it was quite chill. Like, people could see Paramore wandering around, but like it's not like they were kind of walking among people either. There was like specific meet and greet events, and there was specific like times they were on stage and stuff. If you ran into them, great. But this is like Jared organizing a specific hangout, where he walks around dressed like Jesus.
And other times he's in his culty lair, hiding away.
Yeah, it just reeks of Manson. I'm sorry.
It does.
It feels
now that I'm
like,
thinking about it more.
Yeah, it freaks me out a little bit. So, this article says the culmination of this process can be seen by members of the group often doing things that are not in their own best interest, but consistently in the best interest of the group and its leader. I don't know about that. We can't say anything about that. Yeah. Everything we're going on is anecdotal. I haven't seen any evidence that people are doing things for Jared or for the band. So you'd wonder. Then the third one is economic, sexual, and other exploitation of group members by the leader and the ruling. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Coterie. Michael's gonna laugh at me now because I don't know how to say it. Like, why did you say it like that? It's clearly coterie. But you could argue that to get to Mars Island,
you have to
pay fuck tons of money to get to have this experience. Is that economic control? Is it just like you're paying for an experience? You're paying for a holiday, basically.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that to get to Mars Island, you get to the place where the boat is. There are boats over, but there are no boats back. So you had to make an appointment. So there were no boats back off the island. Like, if you want, I don't know how you got off the island. I assume if you needed medical attention and stuff, you could get off the island. But like, you're there and it's a private island. You have to book on to this boat when you got your ticket.
So like, how long is it like, because Paraguay, let's say it's like 5 days long, you get on the boat and you sail around the Caribbean and you end up back and the holiday ends, everyone disembarks, Paramore go home, you go back, whatever. How long does the island experience last? Or like, is it like what?
So it's described as a 3-night all-inclusive festival experience. Relax and restore with yoga among the trees. Take a dip in the pool, catch a midnight screening, or gaze at the stars. And catch I feel like to catch twice. That's very bad advertising. Catch 2 intimate performances with 30 Seconds to Mars. Mars Island is an experience like no other.
That's not, yeah, because Paraguay is kind of marketed as this like fun thing. Let's go party and dress up and drink cocktails and eat pizza. Woo, pop punk. Whereas this is like very serene and very like religious.
Like a lot of cults used yoga and like meditative breathing, and then they'd like, that's how they ended with orgies, because they'd like get them to do like controlled breathing and stuff, and it was like a sexual awakening or something. Really weird. But like a lot of these cult things that I've seen, looked into these cult things now. But the description of this reminds me, remember that Scooby-Doo film where they all went to the island, like the Tiki Island thing? Remember the live action Scooby-Doo film?
They're both on Netflix, and I've never seen them, but I really want to. And every time I'm like, oh, Scooby-Doo, and I was like, no.
They hold up quite well.
Okay.
Yeah, they hold up like reasonably well.
What am I doing tonight?
Watching Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
But like, that reminds me a little bit of that. It's like this, like, oh, it's gonna be a fun thing, and then the monsters arrive.
Okay, fair, yeah.
I think it's a little weird. Like, I mean, what they go on to say in this article is that some groups that were once seen as cults have historically evolved to become generally regarded as religions. Growing up in the Catholic country has probably affected my ability to comprehend religion, I think, a little bit, because the Catholic Church has had such I feel like that's just a theme of this episode, but it's because it's had such a stranglehold on how people act, as opposed to just what they believe in and what guides them. Because it's had such an influence on like how we are schooled, how we get to, like, who gets to get married, on like who gets to control their bodies, on like it had so much influence that, like, you know, if whatever your religion is, you are entitled to have that. But I feel like the concept of religions, just I can't get my head around it. I think I just feel like, no, like if you were to go, like, I'm I don't know, Episcopalian or whatever, I'd be like, good for you.
Yeah.
But I feel like my entire attitude to it is so jaded, because it's like,
fair, I can see that. I can see what you mean.
It's really like fucked up my perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm really sure. So even like the thought of like this becoming a religion is a bit like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's a bit much.
It is a bit much. So they said power devolved from a single leader to a broader church government, and such groups ceased to be seen as simply personality driven and defined by a single individual. So it's like how Mormonism was founded by Joseph Smith, and then that became the Church of Latter-day, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I just keep thinking of the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
A soldier on the army of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is a great musical.
I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but the songs from it
are
amazing, and I've seen like clips from it. Yeah, it's amazing. I would like to see that. I hate religion. I can't wait to see the Book of Mormon. I don't hate religion. Believe what you want. You are fully autonomous to do whatever you want in life. But it's like how it's not about Joseph Smith anymore. Yeah. Like maybe that's it. Like it's like the church was about Jesus, but it's not really. Yeah. In Catholicism and in Christianity in general, like it's not actually about Jesus. It's about all these other old people. It's like eventually maybe this could evolve to be beyond Jared and more about
yoga
or peace or murdering people.
I feel like that's such like a rich white man trope of like the beard and the hair and the white, pure white clothes, and you're meditating under the sun.
Yeah, and I have reached what's the
peak nirvana or whatever.
No, what's the word?
Enlightenment?
Maslow on this hierarchy of needs you reach.
Oh, like self-actualization.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll just poke myself in the nose.
Self-actualization. Actualization. Yeah, it's very... Yeah.
No, it's... Yeah. So this is what they said. Some groups may not fit the definition of cult, but may pose potential risks for participants. So 10 warning signs of a potentially unsafe group or leader. Absolute authoritarianism without meaningful accountability. We can't speak to that. We don't know what it's like to be around him. No tolerance for questions or critical inquiry. Again, we don't know. It's like from what people are saying about defense, it's real like nobody has asked the question of like, is this actually a joke to you? It's all just like, this is a joke. We're all joking. It's not really a cult.
Maybe we should try and get him on the podcast.
What, the guy or Jared?
Jared.
Right. Hey Jared, do you want to come talk to us about your cult? What if we join the cult? What if we're convinced to join the
What
cult?
if we go undercover?
Do you have a couple of grand to go to Mars Island?
If anyone would like to fund our investigative
project. BuzzFeed Unsolved, come talk to us.
Yeah, we will definitely go on holidays to Mars Island and
just see. So there's a bunch of other things, like unreasonable fear about the outside world. I don't know. There's no legitimate reason to leave. Former followers are always wrong and leaving negative or even evil. You could argue that for anything. Like when people are like, I'm not a fan of this thing anymore, people are like, oh God, they're so stupid, because like, why would you not be a fan of it anymore? So I feel like there's an element of all of this in everything. Former members often relate the same stories of abuse and reflect a similar pattern of grievances.
Again,
we don't know. There have been a lot of allegations about Jared Leto.
There have,
and they all seem to be similar. And like a lot of the stories of things he's done are like of the similar wanky variety. Like, literally. There are records, books, news articles, or broadcast reports that document the abuses of the group leader. Yes. Followers feel they can never be good enough. We don't know. The group leader is always right. That seems to be the kind of the general thing of like, Jared's just joking. This is just a joke. This is an in-joke that we're all in on. And then the group leader is the exclusive means of knowing truth or receiving validation. Nobody ever mentions anybody else in 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, like I literally haven't got a clue.
No. And like this is like when I read this thread, I know it was like a Jared thread, but I also read one about Mars Island. And it just seems to me that that's all this is about. So, I don't know.
Whenever, if you've been to Mars Island, if there's like a slim chance that anyone listening has been to Mars Island, or you're a diehard echelon and you want to give us your opinion,
yeah, we're gonna hear it. Like nobody is gonna sit here and argue with you or debate you on this.
No,
like,
we just want to hear.
Yeah,
like
maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're like just assuming, or we're like, you know, it's hard to know. We haven't been there. We haven't seen it.
And we've never spoke to anyone who has. So that's what we're saying. If you are a diehard echelon, or you have an inside information, or maybe you know somebody who's been to Mars Island and you've heard stories, like we'd absolutely love to hear from you. So you can email us kidsfromyesterdaypod@gmail.com. We're on all social medias at kidsfromyesterdaypod, except for Twitter where we're at kidsfromydaypod.
Yeah,
because
so
we
you
have
can
enough characters.
But like send us a message anywhere. Our DMs are open on Twitter, and you can send us a message on Instagram. One of us will pick it up. We would love to like either have you on the show, or we can like talk over email if you don't feel comfortable, and we can read it out in a future episode. We'd love to talk to you in person though. That would be cool. Not in person. Fly over here and talk to us in our basement. No, we'd love to talk to you like on Skype or something. But we could organise that. That would be really cool.
That'd be so cool. So yeah, that was episode 14. Yeah, Thank you so much for tuning in.
So join our emo cult.
Yeah. Speaking of cults, join our emo cult. Yeah. That is like our fake slogan. but we're not serious about it. It's not a cult. It's just a joke.
It's actually just a joke. Yeah.
It is just a joke. But yeah.
It actually, if you're wondering where the joke came from, it came from episode 2, which came first, Music of the Misery. We made a joke about emo cults and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But there is no cult here. It's just
two cows in a pod.
Just 2 cows in a pod, which you must listen to and agree.
Or else.
We will see you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Bye.